We have had a police officer in Derry who was shot and seriously wounded after 5 rounds were pumped into him as he left his young child to school. We have had another police officer who was leaving the station to meet his fiancée, and he was shot at the traffic lights in Dungannon. And we've had another officer who had an undercar booby trap device planted under his vehicle as he was at his girlfriend's home.
This is the Bogside in Derry. Its past troubles are now on the tourist trail. But look closely and the walls signal something else is going on. The dissidents' brand of politics has been rejected by the electorate. They failed to get more than 1% of the total vote in the most recent elections. They have resorted to using the tactic of fear to get their way. Nationalist politician Pat Ramsey's crime was to join his local policing board. His home and his family came under sustained attack. It left his 6-year-old daughter Anya terrified.
The worst instance clearly was the petrol bomb attacks when we were at home. Anya was quite traumatised, and she would still have her moments, even though we had moved, of waking up at night and those bad men that she was referring to, because her dreams were so bad to her.
The former youth worker is in no doubt about who was behind the attacks which terrorised his family.
Dozen Republicans felt, well, we'll teach them a lesson.
You do blame dissident Republicans for this?
There's no doubt there was an orchestration. You know, the petrol bomb attacks, somebody had to approve of those.
There were more than 14 incidents before Pat Ramsey finally moved out, taking his family to a new home across the city.
I think the way the community feels underfed at the moment. I think the people living here feel underfed, that there are people carrying out murder and mayhem in the streets, and it really isn't in their name, and I think people are sick, sore and tired of it.
Even among those who aspire to a united Ireland, most want the dissidents and their violence to be a thing of the past.
I participated in the provisional IRA campaign of the 70s and 80s. I know the extent of the popular support we had. I know and could feel, because I was there myself. Now, the people do believe that there has been change, albeit not the change that everybody wanted and not to the extent we wanted, but it is believed now that significant change has been made, that it will be it will leave a situation where people will not support this any type of an armed insurrection.
The dissidents are completely out of step with public opinion, but this doesn't bother them, as they made clear last year. We put to them that in fact they were ignoring the wishes of the vast majority, north and south of the border, who had voted for the Good Friday Agreement. They replied, if Britain and the Free State were really interested in democracy in Ireland, it would be simple to give everybody in Ireland a vote on the question of unity or continued occupation. And they made it clear that they would only talk when Britain signalled its intention to leave Northern Ireland altogether. And they added that they would continue to fight for generations if necessary. They said, we weren't supposed to be here anymore. The Brits, the Free Staters, the Provos thought we would be gone by now, but we're still here and we're continuing to grow. After the meeting, a group of men, including the BBC journalists, were arrested by a special police unit in the Irish Republic, but later released without charge. The following day, 4 more men were arrested and eventually tried for membership of an illegal organisation at the Special Criminal Court in Dublin, where a large part of the taped encounter was shown. The trial collapsed when the original arrests were judged to have been illegal. The authorities estimate that those men were among just 300 dissidents, of whom they say fewer than 50 are actually involved in carrying out attacks. Nevertheless, our research shows that since 2000, around 300 dissidents have been convicted of terrorist offences in Ireland, north and south of the border. More than 70 are currently in custody.
It's a cross-section of older Republicans, veteran Republicans, and young and new recruits. There is also, I suspect, the fact that there is disaffected youth in areas of great deprivation, which may well be feeding into these movements.
Without that large bedrock of support which the IRA was able to call on, the dissidents are desperate for recruits to maintain their campaigns. The question is, are they out there? This parade is organised by the 32-county sovereignty movement. It's aligned to the real IRA. It's places like here in the Republican heartland of Derry where the dissidents hope to build support. Last year, the BBC filmed a meeting of the 32-county sovereignty movement in the city.
Usually this is maybe like last week's minutes, but they were stolen by UC. We can't allow the Brits. They won. I know we won't allow them, they won. But we needed people to be aware that the Brits are trying to disrupt this.
They were finalising plans for another annual commemorative event, which previously ended in confrontation between youths and the police.
2 young people that made last year threw petrol bombs at them. I wouldn't stop them from doing that. If the young people choose to attack the IEC, then that's up to the young people.
It's plain that these people have a youth policy. The worry for most in the city is that it might work, even a little. It's St. Patrick's Day this year and the sun is out. Under Derry's walls there's some drinking, some joking, but no regrets for the recent murders. What do you think about the killings the recent weeks?
No sympathy for it, like. It just has to be done if they want the Brits out.
That shooting last week, plenty of people that think they deserved it, and that cop deserved it.
Martin McGuinness called people traitors for carrying out those shootings.
He's a traitor.
He's a traitor.
Jerry Adams as well, a traitor.
This is the man they claim has betrayed them. Martin McGuinness, here in 1972, when he was an IRA leader. It was a different world when the Provisional IRA's campaign commanded some community support. Now the vast majority of people have moved on from violence and the rhetoric of war, most notably McGuinness himself.
They are traitors to the island of Ireland.
In Republican terminology, that was as strong as you can get. And in historic terms, in current terms, that was a very, very brave move from Martin McGuinness.
In many ways, the shootings of the recent past are actually strengthening the Stormont executive and the current status quo, which is quite paradoxical in terms of what those presumably wanted that carried out the shootings.
Northern Ireland has set itself apart 11 years ago now, and it's not going to change.
The gunmen may still be here, but when the history of March 2009 is written, the men who won't let go of a dark past and a murderous present are likely to be overshadowed by Martin McGuinness's dramatic condemnation of them. Traitors to the island of Ireland.